Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up podcast. Soly here, 3:08 p.m. Eastern, hitting the record button. It is officially Link's SCN. It is Europe's SCN. We're going to be recording a lot of podcasts this week with the sun still shining, and I love that. You know who else loves that? My neighbor and my friend, Mr. Tron Carter. Hello, Tron.
Hey, Soly, I'm just dodging some thunder over here, man. We got these pop-up showers.
I think it's hitting right in between our two houses. At least that's what it sounds like just outside these windows. Big Randy calling in from the Mountain Time Zone. Hello, Mr. Big.
Hey, guys. Happy to be here. Yeah, some early golf starting this week. I had to get up early, but all good. Excited to talk about it.
It's time zone season, though, too, man. I was struggling to figure out when people are going to be teeing off and all of that. We're going to fight that as well. We're going to talk some Genesis, some performances of note, of course, heading into a major week. News and notes around the PGA Tour. Stefan Schauffele came alive, gave us some great quotes. We can talk about some of that. Obviously, a wild playoff at the Evian. A little bit on LIV Spain. They got an application out there for world ranking points. Again, first winners from around the world. Chris Gotterup wins the Scottish Open. And as we are recording this, William Mowell, the chairman, leads the Isco as we are just getting started really out there. Grace Kim wins the Evian in a playoff. Taylor Gooch wins LIV Spain, as does Legion 13, not to be confused with Legion 23. Ross Steelman is leading the Ascendant, presented by Blue, as we speak. Before we get into all those things, we've teased it long enough. The Titleist new T-Series irons officially here, now available for fittings and custom orders. Stop sending me DMs asking me what to do. Go get fit, people. I'm telling you, I was totally fine and happy in my T150s, and I got fit into something quite different. We can talk a little bit about that here shortly, but there's no replacement for a good fitting. The new T-Series lineup is all about higher launch with better spin and carry distance consistency, helping players hit their number more often and stop it there. There's 5 new models: the new T100, T150, T250, T250 launch spec, which is a high launch variation of the T250.
It goes so high.
It's wild. I hit one in the fitting. And the T350. And of course, there's the new T250U and U505 utility irons. Quick stats from the tour. Titleist the most played iron on the PGA Tour for 11 years and counting. The T250 was the most played utility at both PGA Tour events this week. 29 in play at the Scottish, 27 in play at the Isco. And approximately 80% of Titleist PGA Tour pros play a mixed set of more than one iron model. That was a huge point of emphasis for the R&D team, designing a lineup that you can blend seamlessly throughout your bag to unlock optimal performance. Did you guys end up in blended sets, TC, Randy?
Yeah, I went from I was in the 150s into a couple of 200s. Now I'm in the 250 from 4 iron through 7 iron, and just have 150 and 8 iron and 9 iron, and then my Vokey pitching wedge. So
that's
I'm
wild.
Stoked. Yeah, the 250s, the top line looks awesome. They go higher. The reason I wasn't in the 200s before in my 6 and 7 iron is I couldn't get enough spin. They were just jumping off the face. Now they're launching higher but also spinning. So they're perfect. Yeah, I need that I don't know. They blend so well between the sole and stuff they can do with the weight now. I'm in a little bit stiffer shaft now, an X100 guy, a little bit lighter, a little bit stiffer. So
Randy, what are you in?
Well, I was in T100s from 5 iron through pitching wedge.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And then I had a T200 4 iron, and so now I'm in a T250 4 iron, and then 150s from 5 iron to pitching wedge. So I agree with TC. Like the top line, I just love. It's got to be clean, minimal, no offset. I just like looking down at that top line. I'm excited to try them. Mine literally just got here a couple days ago, and I get to try them for the first time out on the course next week. So I'm giddy to see how they
bringing new sticks
perform in action
to California.
Yeah, on a couple heater courses. Yeah, exactly.
All I got to do was take the plastic off mine as well, and I'm taking them out Tuesday. I put that on I put golf on the calendars. I can't sit on these things any longer. I got to go play. I'm in T150, but with a T250 4 iron, and I got the 2 iron in the T250 as well, which is just going to be completely nuclear. I think I hit one 274 with the 3 iron version in the fitting. with some roll, of course, but it's hot, man. It comes up very hot. Titleist.com to find a new T-Series fitting near you and get dialed in. We spent some time on this, and we're going to continue to spend some time on this one because this is a big one. This is a really, really important launch, and I cannot wait to. Made me want to go play some golf, which is the nicest thing I could possibly say about these golf clubs. So,
Soly, we leading off with the Isco?
I know you're fighting for that, TC, but I'm going to go ahead.
React.
It's Chris Gotterup, SCN. Rory McIlroy and Chris Gotterup entered the final round tied at 11 under par. I think Rory was like around plus 120. Gotterup was over plus 400 to start the day. So a heavy favorite would have been the Grand Slam champion. Gotterup went out in 33, though, birdied 10 and 12 and opened up a 2-shot lead. Then he was put on the clock on the 15th hole. Just him. I honestly didn't know this was possible. I've confirmed that this is they were playing under a blended pace of play policy this week on the DP World Tour, which again caught me by surprise. On the DP World Tour, if you are put on the clock, you are given one time extension. That isn't weirdly. I would have thought that's a PGA Tour rule, but it's not. It's DP World Tour. They give you one opportunity to signal to an official, like you're signaling to an ump, like time, please. I'm stepping out here. You get 1 30-second extension. But yeah, Gotterup, I guess you can do this on the PGA Tour as well. They don't do it enough, or they don't do it very often, of only putting one player in a group on the clock. I celebrate this completely. Like this is
for sure.
Because Gotterup, I love him to death. He is slow.
Yes, and like he was being slow, and it was, you could see the difference too that was made. And like, I guess my not to do a whole pace of play thing, but like he ends up bogeying the 15th hole as soon as he's put on the clock, and then they catch up on 16, and he doesn't. They're waiting a little bit for that green to clear, and is no longer on the clock, and then his golf kind of resumes. He wasn't necessarily slow from there on out, but like you can see him exhale, and he birdies 16, and he goes on to win the tournament by 2. A statement win. He had won at Myrtle Beach last year. Not a lot of eyeballs on that. It'd be in that opposite field event. But a TC, a guy you're going to claim, of course, one of your guys you've ridden for years and years and years. So I'll let
some of my voluntary interns can go back. Definitely not years and years and years, but I think I've staked out some ground here.
I can tell a few weeks ago, TC was saying internally, hey, we should give Gotterup a shout out for how he was playing in I think that was the US Open, right, TC? Not the PGA. Yeah. Now, I don't think we got to it that night, which I jokingly told TC, like, oh, sorry, man, we couldn't get to the Gotterup section. But here he is. He's won, and I enjoyed watching him. He looked good. It was a fun tournament out there at the Renaissance.
Soly's called him, like a AAA catcher, or like just kind of a gritty catcher, like kind of looks like Cal Raleigh. It looks a little bit like Brooks Koepka.
He looks like he should just be like 3 inches taller and bigger than he is, right? He just seems like, I don't know. He's just such I couldn't get that a weird minor league baseball
Powers.
player. It looks like Chris Powers from Golf Digest, big time. Yeah, that was definitely in my head. It was. That's where I was like, I'm trying to come up with a comp for him, just at both his playing style and like his appearance and everything, and I'm kind of struggling with it. I think it is. Gotterup was one of the names we hear about coming out of college, coming out of Oklahoma, and I don't know if I don't want to call them post-hype sleepers, but I think we've just been on kind of a run of a lot of these college guys coming out with some pretty big expectations, ready for them to take over. Show us a little flash of something. I think to like Will Gordon, I think to like, obviously still a young guy, has a long ways to go. Michael Thorbjornsen of kind of like, all right, are we doing this or not? Are we doing this or not? And Gotterup had just kind of slid a little bit in my purview, I guess, of guys on my radar of, are we doing this or not? And the answer is yes, we're doing this. He's been on a great run over the course of this summer, has been essentially like the 32nd best player in the world, strokes gained wise, since March 30th. Like that's not a slight at all. That's really, 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 really good golf. So
get him on the team.
Do you want to do that now? We can do that now, because I think this is like,
I think it'd be a good fit, personally.
An interesting fit. I think it. We got a ton of questions about that, and the best one was Ed Mack, 2020 said Gotterup has a blank % chance for Bethpage. I'll ask you guys that first. What do you think the chances are he makes the team in Bethpage as we're standing here now?
Probably 20%.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe less than that, 10%, but you never know. The next couple weeks will be
Get some
big.
locks there,
I was going
but
to say
Yeah.
10, about a 10% chance. I think it would be. And again, just kind of looking at his profile, he's an elite driver of the golf ball. Like he almost stands alone. It's funny to see that leaderboard of since again, that March 30th number that I was pulling. Marco Pinge and Rory McIlroy are all top 6 in the world in strokes gained off the tee over the last 3.5 months or whatever that is. Like he has been that good at driving the ball. The rest of his game is he's not really gaining on the field much in any other category. The iron play has been a lot better over the last several weeks. But if the U.S. went like bombers delight, like we are just going to bludgeon you with 12 guys that hit it really, really far, which I don't think is the strategy they're going to go.
Hits a shitload of greens too.
Yeah.
I think that's the other underrated element. Like he may not be, I guess the word is he's not great with his wedges, but he hits a ton of greens, which kind of reminds me of like Brooks at Bethpage, right? Or like, hey, if you got a bunch of long irons and you're just gonna hit greens and 2-putt, like but also capable of making a shitload of birdies in bunches. So.
Well, I mean, it's all to say like he's obviously going to have to play ridiculous golf to close out this season on a lot of different style of golf courses. And this is one of those random golf courses too that I just don't know how to, you don't see anything else like Renaissance the rest of the way. Even Royal Port Rush is not like Renaissance really at all. So it's really hard to project what's going to happen. But I don't think we have to do that. I think it's like, dude, the guy just stared down Rory McIlroy, who has won this championship before. Everyone, myself included, thought Rory was going to kind of coast to this thing today, and Gotterup hit the shots that were needed, man. And I enjoyed watching this Scottish Open more than I have some of the more recent ones, I think.
It's just funny, sorry, just on Gotterup real quick in the Ryder Cup fit. Shout out to the PGA Tour. They're compare players with the strokes gained. You can overlap them. It is interesting. I plugged in Novak and Mav McNeely and Harris English. It's interesting how Gotterup's game is like completely different than Novak, for instance, where Novak really good around the greens, much stronger putter, but not nearly as good off the tee. They're both not great approach shot. Yeah, you can kind of get in there and hunt around. I'm curious, though, TC and Soly, like what I feel like, he could be a good fit for the team, just given the venue and, throw him out there in I just worry it would seem like too much pressure in the alt shot.
But like maybe you hide him from that, and he's
Yeah.
like he's from New Jersey. He seems pretty fearless. Like that seems to be his calling card. Like he's gonna miss some cuts. He's kind of like high variance player, it seems like, but like it doesn't seem like he's gonna be scared of the moment.
I think I might have the comp, and it might be a little bit
Who is it?
unfair. JB Holmes. I should have seen that coming, right?
Okay.
Like just bludgeons driver. The rest of the game somewhat uninspired. But JB Holmes played in on two Ryder Cup teams. Both of them won at home, 2008 and 2016. And you were saying you might be hiding from alt shot. I was thinking his only fit would be to play alt shot. And
I think that would be his
drivers.
only fit. Yeah. I would just be a little leery of like, hey, we're throwing this rookie that's like, kind of riding a heater into a really pressure packed situation. Which would be fun though. As a viewer, like that's I would like a little bit more of that. Yeah, exactly. I would like a little bit more of that.
I also just don't think the U.S. team is in that much peril at this point. I think this was a convo maybe 4 months ago we could have had of like, who is going to be even the ninth guy on this team?
We're going to go through this cycle 4 more times.
I know. Yeah. I think it's, again, he's going to play a lot of great golf, which is not to say that it's not possible, but anything to take from, Rory back in contention. Obviously it's been a little up and down for him since Augusta. Looked like he kind of had it right, said his game is, about almost back to the point where it was at the Masters, not being able to get this one done. Any takeaways from that?
The putter looked a little squirrely in spots, like some short ones that looked like they were trying to miss and kind of, caught the edge of the hole. Both him and Scotty both looked a little flustered by some of the more linksy greens over there. I don't know. I mean, no, I don't think there's too much to glean from it. I think his game seems to be back for the most part, though. He seems like he's back on track for Port Rush, right?
Yeah, I think finishing second spot is the best spot you could. Winning would be a different kind of expectation laid upon you going back into Northern Ireland. I watched the 2019 Open Championship kind of open film getting ready for this coming week, and that was a extremely emotionally draining week. And I think he's got to be that's on his radar for like how much this is going to mean to him, how much it hurt last time to have missed the cut, and how much like that second round really meant to him for that. Like, I think he knows this is a really big week, and I think doubling down a win going into it would have been a tough combination, honestly. Yeah. Not to say he threw it away intentionally today, but I think to hope for a great outcome for Rory this coming week, I think this was not the worst result in the world.
I agree with that. I think getting to play in a final, group, really nice showing, solid. He's got to feel good about his game. I feel like it's full steam ahead for Portrush. We'll be excited to see how he handles what will be. I mean, it's going to be a lot of pressure on him just because of the venue and how he performed last time. So I know I'm getting ahead of myself looking to next week, but can't wait to see how he reacts.
Reviews on the haircut?
I mean, I'm not one to talk. Like,
I was gonna say, like, I don't do anything with my hair, so like, it was fine, right? Maybe a little shorter than my.
Soly, what about you? You're the hair guy.
I think he regretted that one. You mentioned it as well. It was not his. I don't think it's his strongest look, but it grows back, as he said.
It kind of looked like Kendall Roy.
Jeremy Strong. A lot of Jeremy Strong comps out there. I'm sure he's like, God, now if I win the Open, all the pictures there, me and Portrush are going to be.
He'll have a week. They say the only thing separating a bad haircut from a good haircut's about a week to 10 days. So I think my guy's going to be fine.
All right, I think that's probably a fair conclusion. But TC Marco Pinge, you're tickled. You're enamored with this guy here. What's the word here?
Yeah, I don't know. Just the whole package. He's a proper player, man. He's
what does that mean? I don't know what you mean by that anymore.
He passes the eye test. He's got power out the ass. That's for sure. But he's more polished than I thought he was going to be. He was good around the greens. He's like, I don't know. I'm picking up what I'm seeing. His game seems to suit the U.S. I think the more we see of him, he's been on kind of a heater here. He dresses sharp. He just looks like he's got his shit together, Soly. Like that's the best I can describe it.
We're gonna need him to clean the putting up a little bit. He had a good putting week this week, Genesis, but that seems to be what holds him back from really top results. He won in April on the DP World Tour, over on that tour. And is on a nice run of top 25s and finishes this week with a tie for second with Rory, shooting 13 under par, 65, 67, 69, 66. Yeah. He was known for, at the end of last year, he was suspended 3 months by the DP World Tour for violating the player integrity program.
I didn't know that.
That's what I was referring to in Slack about him, or in our group chat.
This is that guy. That's right. I remember from the week that he won on the DP World Tour, we were talking about that.
I could tell you weren't picking up on my joke about him being on a couple of radars out there, but he had placed some bets on golf tournaments he was not participating in. Like, it sounds like kind of somewhat honest mistake. Some of the bets were even placed before he had been trained up on what he was allowed to do or what
ignorance is not an excuse.
TC liked them.
He was putting his name on it. He was buying our stock.
Would love to know how his.
I mean, Soly. We got Peng, we got Rory, we got Nikolai Højgaard, we got Signs of Life from Fitz. Team Rose shot 63 today. Ryder Cup lock Sepp Straka with a solo seventh. We got Ludwig finished T8 after a really, really bizarre third round where he was just on cruise control and then decided to
make a triple
on
13.
light himself on fire for 2 or 3 holes. Victor T11, all sorts of Christopher Retan T13, all sorts of proper players.
For the listener's sake, he's only naming the Europeans. There were some Americans mixed in there that he's not naming. Just
I'm just saying. Things are going well right now. We got some good, but we got some American guys playing well as well. We'll see what happens. We're gonna roll the balls out next week, along with some of the LIV guys, and we're gonna see what happens in Portrush.
I think this is the. Go ahead, Rainey.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, what do you make of Scheffler's putting? Like, thought he was flummoxed. I was actually loving some
kind
of his
bitchy
reactions. The one where he like,
Whoa! Some of
I mean, again, just like the highest floor, right? But I do wonder, like, he doesn't instill confidence that he's gonna make enough putts. I don't know what to make of his week heading into Portrush. If it's,
I mean,
like,
you guys have played Portrush. Like, do you feel like, I don't know, like we'll talk about some of it this week on our preview podcast, but do you think, are the greens crazy? Are the greens flat? Like, what's the?
There's some interesting crowns. Like they're kind of small in spots. Like they're not massive. They're not like, it's not like a big lag putting contest. It is. It should be a decent fit for Scotty in terms of you got to hit proper iron shots. And there's a couple of holes that have like good banks that will help you guide the ball back onto the green. It's not everything is repelling on those. And like again, rewatching that, it was just like Shane Lowry's approach play was just like his iron play was just ridiculous. Like it was an iron play contest, not a course you can just overpower necessarily. It's just going to be about the ball striking. So he doesn't have the greatest Open Championship record, but it's also like where I get frustrated with Scotty is like some of the stuff that is obvious. Like this is the question. Like going into links golf, you should not expect perfect greens. Like you should not expect the ball to do.
Especially when it's kind of burned out and dry like it has been.
Yeah. The reports I was getting from players were like, yeah, the greens, like they roll better than they look, like just in general. But like you're also comparing that to what you play on week to week on the PGA Tour, which is like some of the best putting surfaces anyone ever gets to play on. So like, yeah, when you play the US Open at Pinehurst, like you're going to get some crappy lies in the shit. Like, and then the balls are going to roll off the greens. When you play links golf, you're going to play not the most pure greens you've ever putted on. That's part of the challenge here. Like you got to overcome this stuff. And it does seem like he can eliminate himself mentally.
Does some of this come back to like Scotty just having grown up on bent in Dallas? Like he knows how to play off Bermuda. It's like Bermuda fairways and bent greens kind of thing. And he just thinks that everything should be no green, fair, either overseeded or bent greens.
Could be. Royal Oaks, is that where he grew up playing? That's bent greens there?
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, basically, when I was growing up in Atlanta, and I know Dallas is similar, I know Charlotte is similar, Nashville, like, kind of in that convergence zone where everything up until 2005, like Atlanta Athletic Club switched over from bent to Bermuda, and then everybody switched within like 3 or 4 years because Champion Bermuda came out. And it's kind of the same thing. Like bent, they put bent back in at Colonial, right? And that was that. It's like a calling card of like the prestigious clubs in Dallas, or Peachtree's still bent in Atlanta, of like, hey, we're a proper club. We have bent greens, even if we spend God knows how much money hand watering it and electricity for the fans and all of that stuff. So
he's won plenty on Bermuda greens. But it is a lot of like.
But I'm just thinking more like fescue, because that's fescue there, and like I struggle sometimes on pretty dry.
He does seem to, his wins do seem to come at like pristine, like say what you want about Quail, but those greens were nice, right?
Yeah.
Obviously Augusta.
Greens are nice at Valhalla, or not Valhalla, but like, like obviously Augusta. Yeah. I mean, just
Sawgrass. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. Or maybe it's like, hey, he didn't putt well this week and he's due for a good week next week. I don't know which direction he'll go, but
the ball striking's there.
Yeah, the ball striking's like he's gonna top 10. It feels like.
Yeah, that's Portrush over other links, or I guess other open rotas, I feel just a little stronger for Scotty, because it just feels like it's a Randy, is this fair to say like it's a pretty aerial course in terms of how links golf courses go?
It felt that way. Yeah. I mean, it just didn't instill like the same as, I don't know, the old course, or I'm trying to think of any other like open rota places I've been. But yeah, it wasn't like I wasn't as concerned playing it as like running it up and finding avenues. And of course, Scotty and I play different styles of golf, but I do think that's right, Soly. It just felt more.
There's more elevated greens, like one.
Almost like a Royal St. George.
Yeah, maybe like but 2 elevated green, 3 somewhat elevated green, 4 a little elevated green protected by a dune. Like there's a lot of carry it up there and kind of play your normal golf versus need to be especially creative, I guess.
We
So
haven't mentioned him
yeah.
yet, but like I think the biggest thing to glean from this week is Xander. He was number 1 in strokes gained approach. He gained 9
Yeah.
strokes and didn't do anything else all that well. But like it seems like he's back and more or less like he's defending his title next week. And if it's an aerial type of test, if it seems like that suits him, like this could be a perfect fit for him. He seems like he's back at the table with us now, you know?
Yeah, no, quietly, TC, you're right. From the Valspar T12, T8 at the Masters, T18, T11, T28, T25, T12, T61 at Travelers, not good, but T8 again this week. Not quite Xander that we saw last year, but should be on your radar. No longer like I've been kind of dismissing him at majors so far to this point. I don't think I'll be doing that this week. I'm not saying he's my pick to win, but it's also, I also struggle. I don't want to get too caught up with Renaissance because it is a different golf course, and I just don't know how well it projects for. I don't know. I don't think necessarily it's like you see guys go over and dominate both the Scottish and the Open, wherever the Open is coming up next. Just because Renaissance is kind of one of a kind. But
I will say, I think Renaissance it continues to grow on me a little bit. It's not like when I stopped when I got out of my own way of like, hey, they're not going to go play a proper links course, Peter Pan. Like, get that out of your head and just accepting it for what it is. I think they've made good changes to it over the last 4 or 5 years. I think the par threes I still don't love the par threes. I think they're relatively, they just don't instill a lot of like color or passion within me. But it tends to identify like it's a good leaderboard. It tends to identify the right stuff, I think.
I enjoyed seeing it play this firm. Like just seeing it that color made a massive difference. Honestly, I still just like it feels just. You're right. Like it's not a bad golf course. Is the thing. It's not extreme. It's just not it. Like it still doesn't. I'll tell you what the main thing is still for me, TC. I don't think the guys really think or fear the bunkers that much out there, right?
I don't really think they have to think that much out there.
Yes, true.
Which is which is like that leads back to why, because the bunkers aren't really.
It doesn't seem like the best execution of bunkers to the point where it just kind of seems like you can manipulate a little bit by just driving it hard and making sure you avoid the bunkers that you need to carry. And so it just kind of isn't the most interesting watch in that regard, but there's great elements to it and parts that I do enjoy watching.
Which it feels like they should do something similar to what I think they're going to do with the Canadian Open, which is like they're going to play it every other year at TPC, Toronto, and then they're going to basically go back and forth between like St. George's up there and Hamilton and I think one other course. And it's like they're going to kind of, be on a little rota. I think the Scottish Open, like every third year or something, like they should have it up at Castle Stewart or Cabot Highlands or go up to Aberdeen or go over and have it on the West Coast. Like I think have it at Turnberry or something like that. I don't know. I just think that's it just needs to bump around the country a little bit more, or the tour needs to give us some sort of links test that bounces around the British Isles and the UK.
That's it.
Co-sign. Yeah.
And that's where I'm more mad at the game and the state of it than I am anyone that even has the decision to make at this point, because there aren't very many links golf courses anymore that make a ton of, not a lot of old links golf courses that make a lot of sense for these guys to go play anymore. Unfortunately, it's turned into such a freaking track meet, and we don't need to belabor that point. I think
it seems like they have done a good job of like with the spectator stuff, and like the views are incredible on TV. Like it's a pretty good TV product they're churning out now with that, and CBS does a good job with it.
Yep. And there's some elements out there. I think I just enjoy that week too, in general, of watching guys go over and play North Berwick and just getting all swept up in the bagpipes and all the.
Well, that was like, I had a discussion question in here. What moment this week made you feel the most jealous of everyone over in the UK right now? Was it Wimbledon, like, watching Wimbledon and seeing, everybody kind of cycle through there? Is it seeing like our media friends kind of playing golf and posting stuff on social from all of our favorite courses in Ireland and England and Scotland? Is it seeing the burned out fairways, like, from Renaissance, or is it, like seeing the usual procession of guys just going to North Berwick and hitting over the wall and all that?
I think I saw a clip of Travis Hill from the Golfers Journal hit the wall with his shot at the pit at North Berwick. That might have been the one, TC. I saw Joel Damon hit a great chip over it and hit it all close. No, I'd rather hit the wall and get it ricochet back at you. That's what makes me the most jealous. And usual disclaimer on, we get to go see and do a lot of stuff, and it's unfair of us to go sit and be jealous.
Oh, totally.
Because runner-up would be Joel Beal posted a photo from Royal County Down that looked even better from when we played it, Randy. When we played it, I thought was the greatest looking golf course that these two eyes have ever seen. And somehow I'm like, how does the human brain work this way that I'm this envious 6 weeks later after we were just there?
Randy?
I honestly think it was the color of the fairways. It reminded me of our trip, our first tour of Sauce, where we were kind of coming in during a pretty significant drought and everything was baked out and firm. And it's like, damn, like playing North Berwick anytime would be a treat, but getting on links around Scotland when the fairways look, I think they called it blonde color on the telecast, which is a great adjective for it. That's what made me most jealous. Is like that's as good as it gets.
Yeah, I had a buddy at Presswick today, and it's just like, man, like I pay a lot of money to be there right now. I think sorry for me, it was seeing Jim Rohrstaff from Terry. He and his son.
He texted me. They both aced the same par 4 in Scotland at Cullen, the 8th hole. I've never had to welcome two people to the brotherhood at the same exact moment, but to Jim and his son Blake, they both aced the 8th hole playing together at Cullen, which was just absolutely ridiculous story. I still am like struggling to wrap my head around.
And the odds of that have to be like in the tens of millions, if not.
And he just sends me via text, and I'm just like, I'm reading this, and I'm like, am I reading this properly? Like, you guys both aced it together, 2 balls in the hole at the same time. It's crazy. So before we wrap up from Genesis, I want to give a shout out to our friends at Omni Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel of No Laying Up. Heart of summer's here. It's prime time to put vacation time to use. Sneak away for a golf trip. Whether you're chasing cooler temps in the mountains or dialing up a weekend with your crew, Omni's 12 golf destinations offer plenty of ways to make it happen. If you want some elevation, Omni Grove Park Inn in Asheville serves up mountain views, a Donald Ross classic. Omni Bedford Springs, as well as home to the #1 ranked public course in Pennsylvania.
That place rules.
You can pair that with the recently renovated Oak Marsh course at Omni Amelia Island or the iconic layout at Omni Homestead. You got no shortage of summer golf destinations to explore. TC and I just checked out Oak Marsh. We'll have a little bit of Instagram content coming out from that one here very soon. They did an awesome job with that, and I'm excited to get back up there, hopefully within the next couple of months. So
I would encourage people, go up to Asheville. They're back open for business. Go support those people up there. And there's not many places that are nicer in the fall. That's Western North Carolina.
A fantastic point. And while you're out there, why not get competitive? The Omni Generation Cup is back for season 2 with qualifiers running every month at each Omni golf destination. Grab your family and tee up a spot of fun and competition to solidify your spot in the national championship next spring. You're due for a summer getaway. Head to omnihotels.com/golf and play the possibilities. Back to the program. Anything else you guys want to prioritize here as we cover off on PGA Tour news and notes before getting to the Evian?
It sounds like Rory needs to go to Omni Frisco. He needs to go to PGA Frisco. I don't think it was shot so much at PGA Frisco as the PGA, just generally speaking. Like,
Yeah, for those that missed it, he was talking about venues and major venues. Like, I care, it's amazing to win the blah, blah, blah here. Of course, I want to win the Open at the old course. I want to win the PGA at PGA Frisco. Not a little bit of a Borat situation there, but wow, what a drive by!
It was pretty ice cold, man. I got to give it to him.
Yeah. Between that and then Stefan Schauffele, throwing throwing some shots at the PGA of America, the 31,000.
Yeah, Stefan Schauffele, he said, "Do I miss the PGA Tour?" No, I did not read this article. This is from the Times. Unfortunately, I hate doing this. I'm pulling this from Nuclear Golf.
Nuclear.
I'm going nuclear. Do I miss the PGA Tour? No, I'm not going to the Ryder Cup either. I'm afraid of what's going to happen in New York. I was there at Whistling Straits when they called Shane Lowry's wife a whore in front of him. I couldn't believe my ears. Then I saw what happened in Rome. That was utterly disgusting, claiming this money bullshit, and Rory behaved disgustingly, in my opinion. It's only going to get worse. It's ruined my appetite for the Ryder Cup. It becomes unwatchable. He also said Xander got $150 to $200 million LIV offer, and he said they could have doubled the money and we still wouldn't do it, citing the lack of world ranking points. So I miss that guy. Those are some excellent quotes.
He's just hanging out off the grid and in Hawaii, right? Yeah.
And before we fully move on from Scottish Open, can I just say, and I think I run this back every year now at this point, more co-sanctioned events. I think this makes so much sense. It's awesome just to see like Marco Pinge. I hope am I saying it right?
I've heard Penge, I've heard Pengi, I've heard Peng, I've heard all.
Could be any of those. Yeah. But like he doesn't play on the PGA Tour and was just right there in the mix with, like Chris Gotterup wouldn't have, I don't think, have been in a signature event. If this was a signature event, so you have like Gotterup, you have Rory, and you have somebody from the DP World Tour all competing together down the stretch. Like it's great. They got to figure out a way to get the BMW at Wentworth to be at a date in the calendar where that makes sense. Maybe they make that a playoff event or something. And which I don't even know what's going on with the playoffs. But anyways, I love the co-sanctioned events. I think those are a massive win. So
you know what? Shout out to CBS. I know things seem up. They're looking up as far as ratings, just generally speaking.
Yeah, this was Josh Carpenter was tweeting about this earlier this week. They're having their most watched season to date since 2018. That's up 13% from last year. Now, granted, ratings were bad last year, but everything is just like up. John Deere got 2.675 million viewers. That's up 28% from last year. And from Josh Carpenter, going back to Farmers, where the tour considers its network season starting, there's only been 4 weeks where there was not year-over-year viewership of an increase in the final round. So, again, there's so much ratings talk in golf. I'm not sure how much this really matters. Is this a dead cat bounce? Like, if you had like one bottom line at one thing like that is causing this, what would you guys estimate that it is?
I've had some pretty good winners this year.
Yeah. Some good winners.
Some of these like honestly, Brian Campbell events,
I'll tell you where I sit is the CBS broadcast product is the best thing going right now, which is crazy to think back, since 2018.
Props to them, man.
I know, props to them, but it is the one network where it's like I can turn it on and know that it's at least going to be a good broadcast product. And that's gotten me to tune in to like, even when I'm not on the podcast, right? And I like don't quote unquote have to watch golf. I still find it enjoyable to turn on like the John Deere, right? Or the week before that, where was I watching? The Rocket Mortgage. Shit, I was watching some of Rocket Mortgage.
The Rocket Mortgage
on vacation in Michigan, and it's like, yeah, it's because it's easy. It's nice to watch, and I don't know. I don't know if that's the whole bounce, but I at least personally like I am much more apt to flip on a tournament that has CBS coverage relative to NBC.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, Randy, because I wanted to be like, yeah, look what happens when you invest in your product and increase. I was hoping that's the answer, right? Like, I think that's the answer in my head, but I'm also, are we just in an echo chamber where, we're the only ones that care about this network stuff and the presentation and like, yeah, they take their stuff seriously. I think I don't think like you tune in like mentally. I don't think you go, I got to listen to Trevor Emlin, but I think him being in that seat, not to fire a shot at Faldo, is just such like the glue just works together so much more. Like you just are listening to smart golf talk the whole time. Yeah. You almost don't even notice it. Instead of like Faldo would just like say words that didn't mean anything. And Trevor doesn't waste any words. The way he plays off of some of the other guys, I think has improved the rest of them. I think honestly, like Nobilo and IBF and
he
even
sets
Dottie's
them up for success.
Yes, they're set up way better than they were with Faldo because it's less stammering and all that. So
Trevor had a perfect example today. They're doing they're explaining Gotterup is on the clock right now, but he gets one thing, and Trevor asked point blank immediately. He's like, "Do you think the rules official told him that he gets that, one kind of timeout of sorts?"
that was Johnny Miller style, right? That's how Johnny did things. So yeah, it was really, really good. So congrats to them. I'm honestly like, again, just very, very happy that that it's trending that direction. I don't think there's a LIV takeaway from this necessarily, other than it's like there's a clear winner here from in terms of fan interest.
I think NBC should hire Arlo White. That's the LIV takeaway.
Be the best thing they've done in years.
What a moment. Jordan Spieth, I'd like to congratulate Jordan Spieth and his family for welcoming their third child. Wish I was joking about this. The boy is named Soly. A lot of theories going on out there. Was he calling me Soly because he wanted to make sure he had that kind of separation?
But that was more Solely.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. He wanted to make sure, like, I'm not naming my kid.
He was carving out Soly for his kid.
Exactly. Sully. I did a little Sasquatch immediately. Like, me? Did you name him after me, Jordan? I don't think he did. I'd have to ask him, but I don't think he did. Let me just state that for the record.
Be a massive fan of our guy Sully Sullenberger. TC.
Is that 3 boys now?
No, it's a girl, Sophie girl. So it's the same as my daughter.
Okay. Sammy.
Yeah.
All right. All S's. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. We're gonna get Flushing. It's probably gonna come after us. He's gonna tell us to mob up for glazing the PGA Tour and all these guys over the next, the last 40 minutes or so.
They wouldn't expect
is your boy back? By the way?
He's back. He's just
we don't need to give any more.
Just tweeting through the pain, man. Everybody's like, "Yo, are you gonna address this?"
You just acting like nothing happened.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, nice.
Speaking of other stuff, just emptying the notebook here, Soly. Little baby Colin bringing in Billy Foster.
I missed this next part.
Foster said he will not be caddying for him during the Ryder Cup. He draws the line there because he bleeds for Europe.
That's sick. No,
I love that.
That's
awesome. He's caddied in like what, a dozen Ryder Cups?
I think if you are of the birth country of the opposing team, you should not caddy in the Ryder Cup. Like, it kills me to see Scotty on Ludwig's bag and riding for Team Europe in the Ryder Cup. Like, that's one example. There's some European caddies as well that caddy from the American side, but it feels wrong. Ricky Elliott was on the bag for Brooke. It just feels backwards. It just feels wrong. Do you have any competing rooting interests internally? You have to have like at least a little bit here. I don't know. I respect Foster for this.
Yeah, I applaud him. I'm glad to have him in our team room. So
Seve would have never, like, legitimately, if you go doing all the Seve research we've done recently, Billy Foster caddied very seriously for Seve. Like, yeah, you can't caddy for Seve and also caddy for the Americans in the Ryder Cup. It does not.
That was one of Morikawa's things. He's like, I've enjoyed asking him, like, what would Seve do here? And I'm just thinking in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, Solly's probably screaming through the phone right now. Like, Seve would be cheating right now.
He would be coughing in somebody's backswing.
The great man, Seve. All right. What else? HE's caddy is struggling to get a UK visa, which, E served some time in the pen for a drug charge, but I think like 20 years ago, and he's kind of been on the straight and narrow. It's a cool story. Like, he's pretty open and honest about it. And so, yeah, I think the U.S. ambassador is kind of working on things on that front. Randy in a trap draw, adjacent development. This is all stuff that we can track. I'm just setting the table for the preview and happy hour pods this week. There's a potential industrial action that may disrupt open train travel, and that is essentially a strike. It sounds like they're working through it, but that could throw a wrench into some logistics. The trap draw and Knowing Umpire will continue to monitor that. And then the Sons of Ulster parade may force earlier tee times on Saturday.
This sounds like it might get lit.
Yeah.
But apparently this happened also 6 years ago as well, and there not much came of it. And also, Randy, our film is going to come out this week on Monday.
We're looking to
our trap. I think we'll have solved all the problems there by that time. I think us, that was our goal when we started the film, and I think that's probably the takeaway people are going to have.
Said so many times, guys, we cannot act like we have any solutions to this. We are not solving any problems. We simply have to talk about what we see and what we
learned.
experience.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Maybe not the topic I should joke about, but that was indeed a joke, and I hope people should watch the film. We're really, really, really excited about this film. We'll talk about that at the end as well. But I got to give a shout out. Like right now, headlines everywhere, chock full of data breaches, regulatory rollbacks, making us all vulnerable. You can do something about it. DeleteMe is here to make it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online. DeleteMe knows your privacy is worth protecting. Sign up and provide DeleteMe with exactly what information you want deleted, and their experts take it from there. DeleteMe sends you regular personalized privacy reports showing what info they found, where they found it, and what they removed. DeleteMe is not just a one-time service. DeleteMe is always working for you, constantly monitoring and removing personal information you don't want on the internet. Take it from me. Recently got our reports back from DeleteMe. I was shocked at the findings. I keep hearing about data breaches in the news. Recent Coinbase data breach. A hacker obtained names, addresses, phone numbers, and the last 4 digits of users' social security numbers, plus mass bank account numbers. Bitcoin hit an all-time high, just for the record. Data brokers can vacuum up a lot of that data, create a searchable profile about you, and sell it to whoever they want. Thankfully, if your data is exposed in a breach, DeleteMe can help remove it from data broker sites. Take control of your data.
You should see my May data report. I just pulled it back up. I'm off of been verified, backgroundcheck.com, 411.com, dopsearch.com.
These websites, man. God.
Use it. Yeah. It's a great service. DeleteMe. Take control of your data. Keep your private life private by signing up for DeleteMe now at a special discount for our listeners. You get 20% off your DeleteMe plan by texting NLU to 64000. The only way to get 20% off is to text NLU to 64000. That's NLU 64000. Messages and data rates may apply. Randy, take me to the the penultimate major on the women's schedule.
Yeah. Well, one of the discussions I was going to have is if we're ready to declare that this was a major, but technically it was. God dang, what a finish today. I truly trying to think of a comparable finish. Grace Kim down the stretch. Headline, Grace Kim wins in a playoff over Jeeno Thitikul. The action really, Grace Kim eagles the 72nd hole to force a playoff. Jeeno cannot make what did it look like? 6-7 foot birdie putt.
You gotta make that one.
It was closer to 10-ish, probably.
Either way, you gotta birdie that. You gotta birdie that 72nd.
You gotta hit it like to not die into the hole, and that's essentially kind of how she hit it.
Yeah. So they play 18 again, which is a very reachable par 5. Grace hits her second shot though, way right into a hazard, kind of adjacent to the green. Jeeno hits hers pin high, just off the green and a little bit of rough. So like Grace is dropping 3, has a pitch across the green for 4. She's thinking best case, get up and down, make a par, make Jeeno get up and down for birdie to win. And then she chips in, like she chips the damn ball in for birdie.
Awesome.
The pressure swings to Jeeno, who then I think makes a really good up and down. She left herself again another, certainly not a tap-in birdie putt. She made, I think that was maybe a 5-6 footer for birdie. And so they go to 18 again. They're both in prime position, and Grace Kim hits a wonderful second shot. I'm guessing here, maybe 15 feet, 12, 15 feet for eagle. Jeeno misses in the same spot, just left of the green in some rough, and Grace rolls in her eagle putt, and that's all she wrote. It truly a shocking win, I think, for Grace Kim, just because standing in the fairway on 18, it was Jeeno's tournament. So guys, I mean, we can talk about Grace, but I correct me if I'm wrong. It feels like the big story is Jeeno, and I don't know how bad should she feel for not winning this. Did she get this ripped away from her, or did she give this one up? I'm a little torn.
It's a little bit of both.
It's a mix. Yeah, it's hard. She's supposed to be like, she's a massive talent. She's had a questionable major record. She's played well in the last several majors here this year after a tough, or I guess last couple majors she's played well. She had a tough U.S. Open, but she had a good look to win and just like didn't hit the putt. Granted, she made a very clutch birdie on the 71st hole to take the 1-shot lead. Maybe led her to play the 18th hole a little conservatively, but it's hard to blame her.
I know, because she hit before Grace. So she laid up on 18, Jeeno did.
From the right intermediate. Yeah.
Yeah. I think she could have gotten there. I'm still not sure she gives herself much better a birdie look than what she ended up with. But she did lay up, and then Grace steps up and, I mean, damn near made an albatross, like hits it to
sick.
1.5 feet for a tap-in eagle.
And
but that was like, yeah, I wonder if Jeeno wants that one back. Like, should she just have gone for it? But I think it does just kind of come down to like, hey, you got to make that putt.
It's kind of complicated.
Grace, like, can't chip in.
Because she's got this track record of not playing great in the majors, or not, like she's kind of, we've been wanting more from her. But then you go look, and she shot 67 on the weekend. She had a clean card today. She birdied the 18th hole in both the
Playoffs.
Like it's not like she messed up the playoff, right? She just should have made the putt at the end of regulation. I don't know. Like I think Grace Kim is a really good. Like I remember she won the Lotte in 2023. I remember staying up late and watching that from Hawaii, and it was like she just seems delightful. Like she seems like just very, kind of a glowing personality and just a positive person. I think John Pond caddied for her, filling in for her caddy a few weeks back, and like he's had nothing but great things to say about her. So she hits the shit out of it. Like she's kind of like her game kind of reminds me of Nelly in a certain way. Just long, languid swing.
It's funny because I feel like she carries herself a bit like Nelly. Like if you just see them walking a golf course, I think there are a lot of similarities between Grace and Nelly. Grace, 24 years old, Australian. TC, as you mentioned, this was her second LPGA victory. Had not had any major top tens until this week. But what a breakthrough it is. I believe she becomes the 5th Australian woman to win a major. Of course, Minjee Lee, fellow countrywoman, just won the KPMG, the major before this. So good run here for Aussie women's golf.
I mean, she doubled the
true
12th
credit
hole.
to her.
Yeah, she doubled 12, and it looked like she left one in the lip of a bunker. It had come right back
eagles.
at her.
Same round.
And then she played the 18th hole 3 times to finish this day. She went eagle, birdie, eagle with a penalty shot. Like she hit one in the water in one of those, and she played it 5 under in 3 rounds. She hit the ball 9 times when she played the 18th hole 3 times. Like it was completely absurd. Randy, you might have undersold that chip in. Like she hit like a skinny, skanky, like bottom of the face toed iron into the water and had to drop off, like she had to chip it over the water. Like it was like a hole out from like 40 yards. Like it was not a chip. It was not a greenside chip in. It was an unbelievable shot.
I'm trying to remember a shot in golf that was like truly like you have to make this pretty much to have a chance, not to win, but
it was like one of those ones where like
really to have a chance.
Bones is tending it at Torrey.
And it goes in though. It really was. I completely agree, Soly. I'm like totally underselling it. It really is one of the more amazing shots I can remember in LPGA since I've been a fan. Like the magnitude and the timing of it and what it meant. So I'm a big Jeeno fan, and I'm worried I'm coming off as like letting her off the hook here.
No, this checks
putt
out.
aside, I thought she did play well. Like Grace just ripped it from her.
You got to give her some,
I think,
no pun intended, some grace.
I'm the yin to your yang. I'm more Jeeno hater than I am, the biggest Jeeno fan. Just in that I want to see her win, and I'm letting her off the hook on this one. Bogey free 67. Yeah, you got a birdie 18, but she had Justin Ray tweeted she had a 98.6 win probability. They're playing the 18th. Like it's easy to say, like, if she'd have messed up that going for it over the water, maybe she hits it in the water, maybe she hits into a terrible lie in the back bunker. If we'd have messed that up, you'd have been like, hey, just lay it up. You're like, make her make eagle to beat you. And it happened. Like, it just is a really tough break, but
pretty similar major record to Tommy right now, for being honest.
For Jeeno.
Yeah.
Where are we going with this, TC?
Just saying. Just throwing it out there.
Well, and Jeeno, and let's be clear, Jeeno doesn't have a bad major record. It's just she has such a good regular tour record that
she's just really good.
The major record, just doesn't quite look as good in comparison. And obviously she hasn't won one yet. And so until she does, it's going to be like this. Like, when is Jeeno going to win one? And I think that's both fair and, she's still 22 years old. She doesn't turn 23 till February. So plenty of time. But man, a couple of these now where it's like, you start banking some of these majors and we get really excited about like the historical greatness that Jeeno could perhaps elevate herself to.
Jeeno also doesn't seem to win tournaments that aren't like crazy low under par.
Yeah, the biggest flag I'll raise on her is 9, 15, and 18 are the par fives. 3 of the last 10 holes are par fives. She didn't birdie any of those, and not getting 15 or 18 there when all you got to do is get one of them to win is probably what she's kicking herself for. But also, again, like we just want. Grace Kim had to play her final, including the playoff, played her final 7 holes and 6 under to beat her by 1. Like, it's absurd. It was, man, I'm not an Evian lover. I was vibing this morning. That was a great watch.
I might be coming around a bit on the Evian.
I'm kind of to the point where I don't know if we gave it a fair shake to begin with. Like, we were coming at it from such a jaundiced point of view. 4 or 5 or 7 years ago. And
the finish is really good. And
that's the thing that I'm coming around on is it serves up fireworks. Like we saw, you have the big swings that are possible. And I think as far as major venues go, that makes for really interesting viewing.
And
I will say this. Yeah, it doesn't deserve to share the same tier as the Chevron. I think we can agree on that.
I think that was my big takeaway too, is the Chevron is clearly the 5th major out of 5.
And if the KPMG isn't going to, like, it feels like it's on a level with maybe the KPMG at this point, a definitive level below the U.S. Women's Open and the AIG Women's Open. And then I think, and then I think you've got those two are more similar than Chevron feels a definitive level below. And I think it's kind of weird. Like, let's just kind of lean into it and accept, like, hey, it's going to a beautiful place in the middle of July, and it's asking distinct questions that normally conveys a pretty good leaderboard for us. And I think that it was a banger. What, last year was that when Lauren was in the mix last year? Like, there's been awesome finishes. And Soly, to your point about co-sanctioned events, this is kind of one of the two kind of co-sanctioned Ladies European Tour. And if you really want a proper global tour, you got a willing sponsor Monday that they want to throw money at this thing.
Yeah, this could be a mea culpa here for me. I mean, it's Celine Boutier won by 6 strokes a couple years ago. That wasn't like a dramatic ending at all, but still, like, good leaderboard. You just like cruise through the leaderboards. Yeah, it's like it's always a fun leaderboard. About 4 out of every 5 years, there seems to be like drama coming right down to the 72nd hole. And I think, as maybe goofy as the course is, it allows for birdies and eagles and fireworks. And it's not the worst thing. I'll say that. I'm hand up. I'm sorry. It is such a cut above Chevron, like as a golf course, as a scenic viewing experience, the atmosphere, you see people, you see flags, you see like pride in the event. I'm coming around. So I'm sorry to the folks at
I've bitched about it too much.
Yeah. It's just non-stock shots down the stretch. Like, there's just so much all above your feet. That 17th hole is actually really fun. Especially that front right pin. It asks a very specific question. Like Lauren didn't pass that test on 17 last year, but it was like, man, that's just such a better give and take for like a good shot versus bad shot than we normally see on the LPGA Tour. Like, it felt different. Like a par 3 16th there, like where that comes and meets, like that, where that front right pin was as well today, like, and where it meets like the 18th green, like that whole atmosphere around that, there's an energy there. I don't know, man. I did not expect to. When I woke up this morning, I did not expect to be raving about the Evian.
Blazing the Evian.
One thing I will not. Here's a problem. like that I've always had with this tournament is the mail-in effort that we get from NBC Golf Channel.
Just give a good international feed broadcast.
That's all they have to do. And I don't know if it's always like this or what the deal was, but the broadcast was legitimately 3 to 5 minutes behind the main action.
And they were spoiling everything.
There was a great buzz on one of our great mornings we've had in a long time, especially in women's golf on social media, of everybody freaking out about it. And I'm realizing like LPGA account is spoiling the result, like way ahead of what I'm watching, like horribly far ahead. Like
5 whole minutes.
What is the possible explanation for this being almost essentially on tape delay while we're watching it? And now I'm avoiding social media while I'm watching it, which is the opposite of what my job is at times. Like it was very, very bad. And I mean, there's been other instances of just like shots happening in commercial on the 72nd hole in this tournament in the past because they've not been able to get the handover right from whoever shoots it. I don't want to hear the excuses. Somebody messed this up. It might be LPGA, NBC Golf Channel. I have my suspicions. Maybe everybody's to blame here, but that was literally the only bummer of the day.
Leona Maguire she was leading the tournament round 1. She made an ace, and they didn't have video footage of the ace from a major championship.
That's
like one of the best players in the world. That's insane. Yeah. Before we get to Lottie Woad, because I know she's kind of the other headline from this. I mean, yeah, like Minjee Lee, T3. You had Angel Yin shot 63. She was T5. Andrea Lee, T5. I was a bit disappointed in Gabby Ruffles. 72 today. She should have been right in the mix of this thing.
I was stoked to see her. She shot a first round 65 and kind of backed up with a even par 71 on the second day. But then, 66 round 3. I'm with you, TC. I thought she would be right in it all day. She was in the final group with Cara Gaynor from England, who had shot a 64 on Saturday. And that whole final group, the third one in there was Somi Lee, who we can talk about that drop if you would like. But all three of those women, they shot 72, 73, 74, and just weren't in it, which made that second to last group, which was Jeeno and Grace, and who's the third with them? Whoever it was. That was kind of the juice all day. Good leaderboard, but guys, I'm also like, a lot of recognizable names. I think this is a credit to the women's game, finally having some depth, but you still kind of compare it to the Rolex, and Nelly wasn't a factor. Lydia Ko misses the cut. Ronnie Yim misses the cut. Haydon Rue misses the cut. Maya Stark misses the cut. I still feel like we're not quite getting the best of the best women to like show up consistently at these majors. And I feel like that's a bit of a bummer. That if I had one nit to pick this week, needed a few of those top 10, top 15 in the Rolex rankings to have better weeks. Hopefully we will see that as we get to Royal Porthcawl in Wales in a couple weeks.
I agree.
God,
I agree.
So
Randy, I do want to shout out Helen Bream, made the cut.
She made the cut. I know. We didn't play that well this week on TC, but we're taking steps.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we have a new segment, and I'm really excited to get to it here. We're going to give a shout out to our friends at SoFi, the ultimate finance app, for sponsoring today's SoFi Get Your Money Right moment. Starting this week, we're going to be giving the SoFi Get Your Money Right moment to somebody who got their money right on the golf course. Career-changing win, locking up a tour card, backdoor top 5 to secure the bag, anything. Head to SoFi.com/NLU to learn more about how you can get your money right with SoFi Plus. And if you want to nominate somebody for the next Get Your Money Right moment, let us know in the comments. We're going to get to that. I'll get to as many of these as we possibly can. Could nominate anything. These could go any different direction.
Probably a lot of different ways. I mean,
a lot of different ways we could go with this, Randy.
Well, I was going to say, Grace Kim wins $1.2 million. That's career changing for her. Is that our Get Your Money Right winner?
Randy, our Get Your Money Right winner earned $0.0 this week. Okay.
Wow.
We're going backwards with this segment from the very beginning. That is Lottie Woad. She needed a top 25 finish at the Evian to earn her LPGA Tour card. She shot 64 in the final round here today, Randy. It was and she started the day, I think, was it 7 shots back? I forget exactly what it was, but she birdied 3 of her first 4 holes, birdied 7, birdied 9, went out in 30 then birdied 11 and 13. She did bogey the 14th hole, but came right back, birdied the 15th hole, couldn't muster up a birdie in the last 3 holes that would have put her in the playoff as well. But she would have made, and it's conflicting sources on some of this, but I believe she would have made something in the realm of $500,000. But she, of course, has to forfeit that because she is an amateur. So maybe the real get your money right winner this week is Minjee Lee, who did not have to share the third place money. She made 523.
That's another 100K right in her pocket for not having to
something like that. Yeah, the math gets funky there because, then the fourth, there was fourth place money involved, which was shared with Angel Yin and Andrea Lee, because even though they finished T5th, it slides all that. A lot of people made a lot more money just because Lottie was an amateur here, but
she helped everybody else get their money right.
She did. Right. And she's about to get her money right because she earned that LPGA Tour status. I imagine she's going to be taking up that card very, very soon, and is going to begin printing money. So I want to give thanks again to our friends at SoFi, the all-in-one finance app, for sponsoring this week's Get Your Money Right segment. You can go to SoFi.com/NLU to learn more about how you can get your money right with SoFi Plus. And if you want to nominate somebody for the next one, again, let us know in the comments. I already have like the next four planned out because there's so many different fun ways we could go with this segment.
I feel like she's probably got her NIL money right to this point.
I would hope so.
Right? Yeah. Down at Free Shoes University. I think P helped some people get their money right this week too.
Well, kept their money right.
Kept their money right. Yeah, our friends.
Thanks to the judge.
Yeah, some of our friends that we know, Shane Bacon, Eamon Lynch, and I believe Damon Hack, the P's $750 million lawsuit, which honestly, TC, I regret that I forgot about this. I haven't thought about this lawsuit for like at least a year. It has been dismissed yet again. I don't know how many times the lawsuit
with prejudice.
With prejudice. This is the end. Does that mean it's done?
I believe this is the end.
Okay.
Yeah. The judge's whole write up on it was like, they just said stuff that was like either patently true or like your college teammates have said this. there was like this whole rationale laid out that was pretty cut and dried. So
yeah, shout out to them as well. They burned through one of my ideas. We could have spent a 30-minute one on that.
Shout out to Lady J too.
Question real quick, back to Lottie Woad. She joins, I'll say, Rose Zhang and Ingrid Lindblad in the last couple of years as like pretty high profile women that have gone the college route, had success as amateurs, and then joined the LPGA Tour. TC, where do you slot your excitement with Lottie, maybe vis-a-vis those other two? What are you hoping to see from her, assuming she takes her card and turns pro somewhat soon?
Lottie seems like she has that dog in her. Like she seems like she wants to absolutely dominate people, where I've never really gotten that from Rose. Even during her wins, it was always, pretty conservative play and just gonna be in the fairway and just iron play to death. Whereas it seems like she just plays with a certain fire. Seems like, and I don't know. I'm more bullish than I think Ingrid will be very steady and consistent. But I think Lottie is I don't know.
She's killer. She's like just looks like she thrives, man. She just swings it so confidently. Like it's winning by 6 last week at the Women's Irish. The statement she made in the final round, like when she won the Augusta National Women's Amateur, like it just felt inevitable when she gets going. Like there's just a
Women's British last year. Too.
There's not that many players I can think of on men's or women's side of the aisle that I think of like that just have this Sunday glare about them. I love the commitment in her swing. I don't know. I was guilty of getting, and I'm not putting Rose's career in the past tense, but we all are guilty of getting quite hyped about Rose, and I'll get ahead of it. I'm going to be guilty of getting pretty hyped on Lottie because I think she's coming hard.
She beat the shit out of a really good field last week.
Yeah.
In Ireland, like by 6. Yeah.
Like, is she going to be one of the 10 biggest favorites at the AIG Women's Open?
Well, she was T10 last year, the low am at the old course. I mean, I think she certainly should be. If she's not, then I think it's a value opportunity. I'm with you. She's got something where it's like she just finds a way to get the ball in the hole. It's a little, I was just watching her today, she had like a chip in, she had a long putt. It's a little Spiethian feeling to me right now. Just kind of how she's emerging and winning, and it just feels like there's a lot of good stuff happening for her. So yeah, I'm excited.
It's like how many holes are left? 11. Okay, how can I get 9 birdies out of those remaining 11 holes? It honestly feels like she is trying to birdie every single hole, and I don't know, it's refreshing.
I might need her to mentor Tommy.
As you know, a huge Tommy fan. Honestly, everything I feel about Lottie is the exact opposite how I feel of Tommy on Sundays. I hate to say that, but it is the complete polar opposite.
I'll remember this, Soly.
You brought it up. You said that she should mentor Tommy.
It's everything Tommy needs. He needs to work on that stuff.
Randy, what do we make of Rose? She was T35 this week. If you haven't followed the women's game as closely as you have personally, like, what's your summary, I guess would be a better word, of the Rose Zhang situation?
I think she's battled injuries, so I'm glad to see her putting 4 decent rounds together, at least making the cut at an event like this. I think we're going to look back at these as kind of a little bit of lost years for Rose, and I think that's somewhat self-inflicted, just with her commitment to finish school. You layer in some injuries. I just think we haven't seen her just full bore, I am an LPGA professional. Like, I just don't think we've seen her pour all of herself into it yet. And she's only 22, and that's where it's like, she's barely a year older than Lottie Wood. She's still very young. I hope that we do get that soon. Certainly, no, we don't need any lingering injuries. And once she does get that degree from Stanford, I think that's when the clock really starts for her. And it's like, okay, let's see what you got. Are we a top 10 player in the world, or are we not? Because the expectations were monumental. She burst onto the scene, winning her first start. 3 top 10s in her first 3 major starts as a pro, and it just hasn't nearly been that good since then. So
are we worried that she was beating plumbers and firewomen in the amateur ranks and the collegiate ranks? Because so many ladies go pro before college and just at 18. And because I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, like I hear you on the Stanford stuff. Health is a skill. I think she doesn't really have a dominant trait.
And I think I think that's a good thing to key in on. It wasn't like she was just longer than everybody. And so I think her greatness has to come from the consistency and the ability to practice and get reps with her iron play, and especially with her wedges. And I just feel like over the last year and a half, she just hasn't put herself in position to maximize her abilities. But I do think it's a fair discussion too. It might be, we've seen many amateur women and collegiate stars that just quite haven't found the success on the LPGA tour that I guess we would have expected maybe.
I mean, it's feeling a little bit like Michelle Wie between injuries and going Michelle went back at 22 or 23 to go get her degree, and she was doing that part-time. That kind of feels like.
Is Rose done with school? Is she done and graduated?
I don't think so. I would think maybe next year. I'll have to get an update. I don't know, but I don't think she is done. I feel like maybe she has one more semester or one more kind of year's worth.
Rose should start stacking. Soly, she can the stack, because it's like Michelle had this whole. She had a dominant trait, right? She's just exceptional driver of the golf ball, and
interesting.
And Rose's injuries have been kind of that neck, nerve neck. It's not like the best place you want to see people dealing with injuries. So I almost, and she had talked about this like prior to the U.S. Women's Open and stuff, like how she almost thought the injury break was a bit of a blessing in disguise, perhaps, for her, just allowing her to kind of reset and she could work on her schoolwork and not worry about the pro golf aspect. But yeah, there's going to come a point in the next year, 2 years where it's like, okay, Rose, let's see what you got here. Now's the time.
Yep. All right, what's next?
From the notebook, Somi Lee, the drop situation.
What happened?
Bad stuff. What, she got relief from a fence because it was next to a cart path?
Yeah, there was a cart path and then a very tiny strip of grass and then a boundary fence. And her ball was right up against the boundary fence. And I guess the local rule is that grass is an extension of the cart path. So she got free relief from a cart path, even though her ball was not, even though she wasn't on the cart path itself.
Would she have been standing on it for that ball?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think we shouldn't be upset at Somi Lee. I think this is like Evian's got to get their local rules together. Yeah. And let's not declare that grass part of the cart path.
I'm glad Randy, it didn't end up affecting the championship.
Randy, we should go at some point and go play the Evian course and do a film room there, and then go play the Kron.
I knew you were going to say the Kron in Switzerland. Absolutely, TC. That sounds like a dream, 2-week trip.
What is the name of the course?
Is it Kron-sur-Sierre?
No, at Evian.
Oh.
It's just the Evian Resort Golf Club.
Okay.
That's what I was like. Is there a name of the course that I never knew?
Well, we had a stroke. Somebody got stroked. Jan Liu got stroked on the 7th hole.
Always stroking the Chinese. Yeah.
Was this Saturday? Was this Friday or Saturday?
She got stroked. It was Friday she got stroked because I believe she ended up missing the cut.
Okay. She was paired with Andrea Lee, and Andrea said I felt a bit rushed. Shout out to the LPGA. They've handed out 4 slow play penalties since the new pace of play went into effect at the Ford Championship. That's more than the PGA Tour.
It's more. Should be more.
Keep it going.
Keep it going, please.
Yeah. Charlie Hull fainted with Drew.
Yeah, that was scary looking. I think she's fine, but she kind of collapsed a couple times. Blamed it on a virus, ended up getting carted off the golf course. But yeah, said she was struggling with a virus, and that was the cause of it. So hopefully she'll be fine for the AIG in a few weeks.
And then Soly, we've got kind of a trap draw, another trap draw adjacent item here. Nelly Corda called out one of her sponsors, Delta. She's a Delta partner. She's flown Delta her whole career. She called it her most organic partnership. She was pleading with them to get her bag when the bags did not arrive in Geneva on time. So it's that time of the year.
She was like, all my contacts were asleep. I had to take to social media on that one. I just found that one. Found that one funny.
Contacts were thrilled.
Co-partner, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Thank you for
letting me wake up to this. We've got Brandel. I think Brandel's clubs are stuck in London while he's up in Scotland. You've got there were a few other ones. They're starting to percolate. We'll probably see a few more this week as well. People calling out. Shackelford led his newsletter off this morning with a shot at American Airlines too. So I hated seeing that, Soly.
Yeah, I'm sure you did hate seeing that, TC.
I don't know. I love this time of the year because everybody's just, summer travel. People are getting crushed.
Yeah.
What do you want to do next? Isco or LIV Spain?
Let's do the Isco. Bill Mao just started a 61. 900 a day. Hurstbourne's been good. I wasn't familiar with their game there, and I think this is a more proper test than the PGA Championship at Valhalla down the street. It's interesting. This place is firm, fast.
10 under winning in a opposite field event is surprising.
Me shocked. Yeah.
And he's got a 3-shot lead. There's not that many guys under par. Yeah. It's like baked out. It's sick. So props to the Tours agronomy staff for that. I don't know. It's been like a cool second screen watch all week.
I say he's minus 10,000 to win, and the leaders are just like on playing the 11th hole. Like he went out and shot 61 today.
Yeah, Keith Foster, I guess, did some work there. I don't know, just interesting stuff. So shout out to the Ville on that. This is me kind of reaching across the aisle there. The youth is playing. Jackson Coyvin's playing well, Soly. I think you may need to give him a look for the team. Blades Brown made the cut on the number. Sarge made the cut.
Sarge has a round going today as well. He is 5 under, second best round of the day going right now. He's up.
Props to the Sarge, man, coming from the wilderness and
good to see the Sarge playing well. Yeah.
Kevin Kisner on the other side of the spectrum. Kevin Kisner he's been kind of floating around in the top 10 all week. It doesn't look like he's even today. He's -4. He's T11. David Skins had a pretty epic freak out at one point this week. Like we're just an awesome, just repeated club slam. Did you guys see the one last night? Hadwin.
Adam Hadwin.
I sent it through our Slack. Hadwin just going off on himself of like, you haven't hit a fucking iron all year. Then Savaricas, like they just continue, like they had just cut to the hot mic too, and he's just like, you could kind of hear it faintly, and then they cut to the hot mic, and he's just F this, F that, slams his club in his bag. And then Savaricas is like, yeah, not much more we can add there. It was great. So more of that, please. So
yeah, that was fun. LIV, I did not get to watch much LIV golf this week. I'm sure you watched most of it, TC. So you could probably pick up from this. But Taylor Gooch is back. That guy's back in our. He never left our hearts, but now comes back to the forefront of our minds. He wins at 8 under par, beating out John Rahm by a shot. Abe Answer third, Matt Jones, Tom McKibben, Brandon Grace. T4 on the team front. Legion 23, Legion 13.
Behind win today.
Massive 12 under par.
Mobbed up
to hunt down fireballs and smash. And what are your big takeaways from this week?
Yeah, high flyers were in a pretty good spot. They shot +4 today, or sorry, +4 overall. Kind of decent final round from them. Ripper, great final round from them. Ripper and Fireballs both -11 in the final round. Cleeks, pretty good performance in the midfield battle there. They got up to 8th, scoring some points. But yeah, Legion and Fireball were the only two teams under par. And from an individual's perspective, Rahm 1 shot off the lead. Cam Smith, a little bit of form there. Dustin Johnson, a little bit of form. He shot -7, 1 point. Proper golf course. Valderrama always slaps. Blandy finishing 1 shot outside the top 14. He finished T15. Although a pretty heroic -2 today. But he bogeyed his first hole and then charged back. So it's Cleek's season right now.
Cleeks are in 11th out of 13 teams. TC. I'm just checking the standings that just come across my desk.
Yeah. It's not great. We got to get Gotterup or Ketchup or whatever his name is going. It's bad. He's been playing like shit. All 4 scores count. All 3 rounds this year.
Nowhere to hide.
You don't have to tell me.
Nowhere to hide.
Yeah. So
the big news. Yeah, the big news on the LIV front. I guess tell me if this is news. There was statements that came out both from the OWGR and LIV. LIV has said they've reapplied for OWGR points. Look forward to working with Trevor Emmelman on this. LIV or the OWGR released a statement as well, so they received the application. The review process has commenced, and they're committed through thorough evaluation of all applications, and LIV's application will be reviewed in accordance with the OWGR's criteria to ensure fairness, integrity, and consistency. Appreciate the interest of LIV Golf and all tours in contributing to the global landscape of men's professional golf through OWGR. Further updates will be provided as the review progresses. Is there any chance with this application that LIV Golf gets OWGR points?
I mean, you can apply. Like,
yeah.
You can
all
apply
they
to
can say
MIT.
is no.
Like,
Yeah.
probably not going to get in, but I mean, I think like it just seems like there's like a Russian nesting doll of issues. It's the pathways and qualification. It's the team element. There's like 3
Field
or 4
size.
different things.
Yeah, nothing's changed, and and again, we're not going to go through all the criteria again. We've covered that ad nauseum, but there's a lot of reasons why. The main one always continues to be like the lack of like churn and qualification for it, and the whole thing like was supposed to be of like, oh, there's relegation now. and then they just like re-signed a bunch of the guys that didn't qualify for it. Like if anything,
they fell out of the lock zone. Okay, Soly, they were in the drop zone.
Yeah,
no, or the open zone.
Nomenclature.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, and they just like, yeah, you're good. You're exempt into all the events going. Like this is the exact problem that they had from the jump. So, and you're supposed to be compliant with all of OWGR's criteria for at least a year to even get the points, and you're not compliant. Like I don't think this changes anything unless the OWGR wants to bend over backwards for them to hand out like a minimal amount of points. I don't know. I did have a little fun with this though, guys, because again, the OWGR's statement was very professional. I used my friend Chat GPT and plugged in the statement and just said, "Can you tell me what the OWGR is really saying? Like, here's kind of some of the background of this situation. Can you tell me what they're really saying?" So again, the official statement: OWGR received an application from LIV Golf seeking inclusion in the OWGR system. Review process has commenced. What they're really thinking: we received LIV's application to be part of the world rankings. It arrived via gold-plated envelope and smelled faintly of jet fuel and compromise. We opened it, sighed deeply, and filed it into the absolutely not folder, right between Big Break Reunion Tour and Tiger's Swing Coach rankings. Next part.
This sounds more like grok than it does.
It gets better. Next part, actual statement. OWGR board is committed to a thorough evaluation process of all applications, and LIV's application will be reviewed in accordance with OWGR's criteria to ensure fairness, integrity, and consistency. What we're really thinking: we're going to review this application with the same urgency you show cleaning out your junk drawer. We'll probably form a subcommittee, host some luncheons, debate whether shotgun starts count as golf, and ultimately decide that fairness and integrity means not giving points away for 3-day exhibitions featuring DJ in shorts. Yeah, they're kind of on this one more than I thought they would be. Lastly, we appreciate the interest of LIV Golf in all tours and contributing to the global landscape of men's professional golf through OWGR. Further updates will be provided as the review progresses. Translation: we appreciate LIV Golf's attempt to force their way into the ranking system they spent 2 years dismissing as irrelevant. We also appreciate clowns at birthday parties and pigeons on statues. Updates will be provided once we've exhausted every polite way to say thanks, but no thanks. Let me know if you want this to be formatted into an internal memo.
I know OpenAI was talking to Saudi Arabia about some fundraising from last month. They may have to clean this up a little bit.
I know, maybe a little bit.
I feel like the OWGR should not, like, at a minimum, we need to see some captains sacked. Like, we need to see some real change. Like, are these real franchises or not?
Like, I mean, Phil should be forced to like completely clean house at the High Flyers.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Na, you should straight up be fired. Leave Westwood probably saying, like, we need some actual commitments that these clubs are like real before we'll even entertain anything.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. I mean, we know the answer to that, right? It's not real.
For sure.
Like that's the part. Like, if you guys want to play this game, we can play it, but like we all know this is not real, right? I mean, I get, like, I don't think like the golfers are not trying. Like, that's not what I'm saying to that. It's just like, you can't take this seriously. Like, there's not a real competitive structure here, and that's not going to change. You're not going to change that. The whole thing
doesn't mean that there's not competition. Like, you go out there on people are trying to win, but but the structure is not in place around it.
Correct.
That's a very apt way of putting it.
Yes.
I also forget Anthony Kim plays this every week. Like, that's wild every time
Yeah.
Anything else before we put a wrap on this week? TC, you traveled a little bit this week.
Yeah, I went up to Cabot, Cape Breton. Listen, it was nice to get out of the heat. The golf was better than I remembered. Even like we went there 2019, kind of 6 years ago, almost to the week. I think our takeaway was like both courses are worthwhile. Still think that's my takeaway. I think
that links course is so hard.
I vastly prefer links to cliffs.
Yeah.
I think it's aged well. It's interesting to go back to a place 6 years later and see kind of, how it's like they've built a ton of cabins and cottages and such. It's kind of like they've built up a whole separate campus there over at the cliffs course. Still think it's really funny. The guy that owns the trailer park right there won't sell him the land between the two courses and build a house like right between them and like the most prime piece of real estate. So you got to go out on the main highway to get around or whatever. But no, courses were in great shape. Cliffs, I still think like 16 and 17 are like the two worst holes on property. Those are the two that like get all the notoriety and the photos and all of that. Like they're just like god awful. And some good relations with the Canadians up there. A lot of the Atlantic provinces represented. Some people from Toronto as well. They're just so gritty. They're so grindy. I think there were so many either moderate sandbaggers or guys that they just want to get in the battle. They want to, the puck drops and they just lock in. And coming off of a short season, and they were like, you were in for a dogfight if you're in match play against some of these Canadian guys. Yeah. You better buckle up your chin strap. You better play the game the right way, Soly. Okay. And like we're playing this guy, him and Brandon the last day. And I'm playing with a couple of the H&B guys. Andrew Bailey was like a +6. So we're just giving shots away left and right. And we're playing Timbo and Brando. And they're like, yeah, it's a great shot, Timbo. Like they just, as soon as we hit like the 12th hole, they both became like +4s, But man, it's still just like, I think they got to get like an airport closer to there, because it's just 2 flights, 2 flights from a lot of places in the US, unless you're in Philly or, New York. And then you got to drive 3 hours north. It's like, damn. But yeah, lobster and, all that. Food was great. Hospitality was wonderful. Thank you to Ted and his team. But yeah, just, but truly one of those places where like I thought I was never going to go back there, just because it was, it's a full day there and back. And I'm like, I can get back to. So it was a nice surprise that it kind of presented itself once again. And I had a blast. It's a very, very worthwhile destination. It's aged gracefully.
Yeah, I want to get back up there. It's one of those places I don't think about nearly as much as I probably should, or just like you said, it's the travel, and it's tough from Florida. Like if you lived in the Northeast, it would be a lot more palatable to swallow and do, especially.
But even then, like having to go through customs and drive 3 hours, it's tough. And like I thought about adding Highlands Links onto it, the Stanley Thompson masterpiece up there, but that was like another 2 hours each way, and it's like, all right, I gotta get home.
That's tough.
It's time. It's time.
But yeah, I did not play great. My another kind of scratchy couple of rounds, Solid. So I'm stoked to get these new irons in the bag.
Yeah. You want to go play Tuesday? Are you around?
I am around. Would love to.
I got to get out of the house Tuesday. I've put it on my calendar. I got to go hit these irons. So even if it's just 9 holes, let's go. Let's get out and play some golf. So we do have a busy week ahead. If you are listening to this on Monday, catch us at 3 p.m. Eastern time on the No Laying Up podcast YouTube channel. We're going to go live for our preview. The edited version will go up in the evening or shortly after we are done wrapping up with that. Obviously, going to talk about Portrush, talk about all the storylines for the week. And we also have the debut of our film from Northern Ireland is going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern on the No Laying Up YouTube channel. And we are, of course, going to have live shows as well on Happy Hour come Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern. And then after the completion of every round of the tournament, I believe sometime around the 3:30 mark each day where I think kind of broadcasts are going to be closing. And you can find us on the No Laying Up YouTube channel for all of those live shows, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, recapping every day of the Open Championship. So stoked. Kind of sneaking up on me somehow, just because there's always that little lull after U.S. Open week or after Travelers, really. With a couple non-live weeks, but it's our last go around for majors on the men's side. It's kind of surprising to say. Always, it's still the July ending of major season. Just doesn't sit great with me.
It's weird. Yeah. You guys got a Seamsters coming out this week too, right?
We do. Kind of an all-star themed baseball chat on the Trap Draw podcast.
I hope you guys were mad as hell about this Miz guy getting into the All-Star game.
That hadn't
broke after we recorded, unfortunately. Yeah. But I am mad as hell, TC. I think it's Bush League.
Apparently, like they asked 12 different pitchers And they all said no. And then they got to him and he was like, yeah, I'll go. Apparently that's what happened.
Yeah. I don't think it was just, it was like, are you willing to pitch an inning on like 2 days rest?
Yeah.
A lot of these guys. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Look for that Tuesday morning. Keep me in your thoughts this week. I'm going to be participating in the USGA Media Day out at Cypress Point. So I'm looking forward to that.
God, the things you do for content. Randy.
Right. I'm taking one for the team going out there. We're gonna shoot a little video of me playing that. So yeah, looking forward to that.
So excited.
Like I just want a video of not only you playing Cypress, of you walking Cypress, of all the little green to tee, like, you know,
I can't
walking along on, you know, from 14 green across to 15 and all that.
I hope I'm not building it up too much in my head. That's my only worry.
I hope it's not a shotgun either. I hope you can.
It is a shotgun, but I'm not sure what tee they're going to put me on.
16 would be so sweet. That'd be awesome. That would be awesome.
I'm laying up for Sheezy if that's the case.
Or if he tees off on
17 would be
and then finishes on 16, that'd be pretty killer. Yeah. And then you're playing Pasa too, right?
Yeah, we're gonna get up to Pasa as well. See that post renovation. Haven't been there in years and years. So I think we're gonna spin up a fun little social video of some type there. So yeah, big week, and then home for the Open. So
love that. Also, I want to shout out. We had these 2 caddies at Cabot. I had this kid, Anders, and his brother Ollie. They're both college students. We had them on the bag in our group twice, and I had Anders all 3 rounds I played. He was awesome. And it was like me and Neil, like it'd be like if me and Neil were a little bit closer in age, and both of us during the summers in college went and caddied together at Bandon or Cabot or something like that. It was the coolest vibe, and they were awesome caddies. So if you go to Cabot, ask for the 2 of those guys. They were like among the better caddies I've had anywhere in the world. So.
Oh, love that. Great use of the end of the show, TC. I appreciate that. All right, but that's going to do it for this week. Done early. Again, early pod SCN is a good thing for the family time. So greatly appreciate it. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and thanks, everyone, for sticking around this week for a lot of fun. A lot of great content to come. Smash that like button anywhere you can. Subscribe, all that stuff. And we'll see you back here soon. Take care. Cheers.
Crack on.